Hi, I'm Sara Levin, the Artful Inker, an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the United States. Welcome to my YouTube channel today. We're going to be creating this card that uses products from the Dandy Garden suite that you can find in the January through June 2021 Stampin' Up! Mini Catalog. If you don't have one coming, use the link in the description below to request one from me. Now let's get started. For this card, I'm going to be using products from the Dandy Garden suite. And first we're going to use the Dragonfly Garden bundle, which is the stamp set and the coordinating Dragonflies punch. You can find both of these in the January through June 2021 Stampin' Up! Mini Catalog. I've got a piece of Whisper White and a piece of scrap paper, and I'm going to start with one of the new blending brushes also in that January through June mini catalog, and my Granny Apple Green ink. And so I'm just going to blend on some green. These brushes give just a really lovely smooth blend. And I'm just guessing where my wings are going to be. And then we'll go up here, and so that we've got some green for that small dragonfly punch to cut out. Okay, quick and easy. Let's close this up. And then I've got my dragonfly stamp in my Stamparatus, and let's see, make sure we're on the paper. Absolutely. So we'll put our magnets on, and then I'm going to stamp in Pacific Point. And the reason I'm using my Stamparatus is because I'm thinking I want a couple of layers of ink. I love that when you get the ink here on the plate, it's not transferring to your project. Okay, and I'm going to hit the top here just one more time and make sure that we're got some nice bold contrast. Let's set the ink out of the way, give that another all-over press, and then take this out. Pretty jewel tones. And then grab my Dragonflies punch, and we'll go ahead and pop this in and make sure we're centered. So I'm going to give it a light squeeze and then a full punch once I know everything is exactly where I want it to be. Okay, let's set this out of the way. And then next I've got my Garden Wishes bundle. This is also part of the Dandy Garden suite, and then the Dandy Wishes dies that go with. Remember, when you purchase a bundle, you get a 10% discount. So I've got another piece of Whisper White and that dandelion stamp, and I'm going to ink in Smoky Slate, because the top of a dandelion always looks kind of silvery white to me. Let's put this out of the way and go ahead and give this an all-over rub. Make sure we've transferred the ink. Okay. And set that stamp out of the way. And then I want my Stampin' Blends. We're going to color those leaves, and I've got Old Olive and Shaded Spruce here, and I'm going to combine those. So I've got the light of both, and I'm just going to brush some of the Old Olive in here and then come with the Shaded Spruce. And then I'm going to come back here and try to give this a little bit of, let's go here. And then let's bring in some of this dark old olive down here across this shaded spruce. I don't want the whole thing to be dark. And then we're just going to blend this out by putting on the light first. Let's see if we can give yourself a nice blending bed sometimes. Okay. And then let's see if we can brush up through here. I'd like a little bit of this shaded spruce color in here. And then let's do the light over top of that, because that's a very kind of vibrant green. Let's see. Let's take just a little bit more of that up in there and hit that again with, and then come down in here, and I want a little bit of that green here. And then I'm kind of bleeding it out with the light. I do tend to use more of a light shade than my darker shades. Okay, that gives it a little bit of shading there. Let's cap these back up and set this aside. And I'm going to die cut this in a few moments. For the card layer, then I've got another piece of Whisper White, and these, I'm going to say they're butterflies, and I'm just going to give that a rub with my embossing buddy to cut down on static, and I'm going to stamp several of these butterflies, kind of traveling up my layer, and I've just turned the stamp a little bit each time. Okay, and then we're going to take this and sprinkle on our white Stampin' Emboss powder and give it a tap off. And then it's time to take this and heat set our butterflies, and I'll die cut our dandelion and be right back. Okay, so our card layer is embossed. I don't know if you can see the butterflies. We'll get that in a moment. And I've got my mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss, which will be available in January. And my dandelion here, and the coordinating Dandy Wishes die. And let me take just a little piece of washi to hold it in place. And away we go. I've been using this machine so much since I got it, because so many of my dies fit in this smaller size die cutting machine. Let's take this out of the way. And then I think I want to add just a little bit of gray shading here in the center of my dandelion to give it a little more oomph. And the same thing, I'm going to come down along the edge of my die cut here, and let's grab my color lifter, and we'll take it and just soften that gray. We don't want it to be a hard gray line. And let's bring that back in, and let's grab my piece of scrap paper so I don't color all over everything. And I'm going to come right down the edge of my dandelion stalk here. And I don't think I want to soften that. I am going to add a little gray, and this is just the smoky slate in here to give this a little bit of definition, and then soften a little bit. And then under here, I just don't want the bright white bits. And I may even come in here just a little with the gray to give it a little more texture. And you're just giving that a very light brush across. Okay, put these out of the way now and bring this back in. Let's move all of my pens out of the way and grab my Pacific Point and my blending brush that I'm using for blues. And we're just going to start and blend on the Pacific Point. I want this to be a nice, vibrant color when I'm done. So we'll watch a moment or two, and then I'm going to continue to tap and tap and then swirl this on. And I'm just going to build this on right on up the layer. And I'm going to stop the video in just a moment and come back when it has reached the vibrancy that I desire. Okay, so there's our nice vibrant background, and while my brush is still a little damp and I haven't cleaned it off, I'm just going to take it around the edge of my dandelion puff and transfer just a tiny bit of the blue. And let's see if we can get right in here. So, and then we'll give this a rub there, and you'll see there's no more blue, even though it's very blue here, so you're good to work on your next project. But then we still have our butterflies here, and we'd like to see those. So I've got my blender pen, and I'm just carefully coloring across these guys and picking up the ink that is on their outline. So you can go all the way around and do that. Okay, I'll finish that up. To add just a little more texture to our background, we're going to ink that dandelion stamp again, but this time with Memento, and pop it right in along the edge here. Okay. And then I think we're ready to build our card. So let me set this out of the way. I've got a couple of the dandelions cut with the Dandy Wishes dies, and I'm going to adhere them to my dandelion that I cut previously. So I just want to line them up here and then sneak my glue right down in behind here and press. I don't want this piece adhered. We're going to use the dandelion to hold all of it, and I'd like these to appear as if they're all kind of coming out of the same area, even though that's not really what happens. Okay, let's hold those just a minute, and let me put my hands on my dimensionals over here. Okay, and I just want to put a dimensional that's kind of overlapping each of those stems, and yet making sure that I'm not hanging out the side. And I want dimensionals behind the dandelion head here. Okay. And then let's bring in my snips here, and we're going to cut these two little pieces off. And we're ready to adhere this bit. Okay. All of our dandelions are going to be coming from down in this same corner here. And I think I want another dimensional under here. It's not quite up as much as I would like it to be. There we go. And I'm going to give that a quick brush with both my color lifter to begin with right in here. And then I'm going to go over just this little center section lightly with Pool Party, and color over that with the color lifter to let it bleed out just a little bit. Oops. Let's put the right caps back on the right pens. And we need a sentiment for this. And I've got the hello from the Garden Wishes. And let's pull this scrap piece out of the way. It's making it hard to see. And then my piece of white is a 1/4 inch, half inch. And let's ink my hello. Now this is a very fine font, so you don't want to press. You want to set it down and just give it a light touch on the back. If you press, you'll cause it to splat, and we don't want to do that. Okay, and then I've got my lovely Labels Pick-a-Punch here, and I'm just going to go right up in here and punch that to give it a little bit of shape. Let's add my dimensionals on the back. And this is going to go in about here so I can have one more dimensional. Okay, and then come right in here and cut this right up against the edge, my favorite way to measure. And then we need to put our dragonflies in. Next, let's add our dragonflies, and this I know will take 2 full size here, and I'm going to put minis out on the ends of the wings. Oops. And let's see if a mini will fit on the head here. Yes, indeed. So then we've all got these border pieces left. So I'm going to cut a little strip of the border piece that's left from our dimensionals and put on the body. Okay, now let's pull all of my backing bits off. Okay. And he's going to go right in there. And then we've got this little tiny guy. And let's just adhere him with some multi-purpose glue down here. Okay. And then I've got a piece of thick cardstock for my base, and it's cut at 4 1/4 by 11 and scored at 5 1/2 so that it opens this way. Okay, and then we're going to add some of these Forever Flowers for Every Season gems. Let's see if I can open them. And I just want some of the clear gems. And let's use the putty on the Take Your Pick and some of the fine tip glue. And this just needs a dot of glue on the back, and going to put that down here and just leave it where it lands. Okay, same thing, put a little dot of the glue on the back. And once it's down, we're not moving it. We're just leaving it where it is. And then let's turn this last one over to the dome side. Okay. And one more little dot. And then this one can go up in here. And, whoop. Let me grab my scissors and pull that off the putty. I don't want it to move. There we go. Okay, and there we have our Dandy Garden suite using 2 of the bundles, Garden Wishes and the Dandy Garden bundle. Thanks for stopping by. This was Sara Levin, the Artful Inker, a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the United States. You can find all these products in my store beginning January 5th during the January through June Stampin' Up! Mini Catalog. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and click the bell if you'd like to be notified the next time I upload a video. And of course, you can see all of the products once they go live, or request a mini catalog using the link below. Have a great day. Bye.